Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, she keyed her boyfriend's car.
You think I care? I don't care anymore.
Quit hitting him.
I've lost my mind.
Got a restraining order.
Are you afraid of him?
Yes.
But she keeps coming back to him.
In fact, you were intimate with him last night, correct?
Yes.
Your daughter and I had sex every day, like yesterday, like this morning, like all the time.
Oh my God.
You sexually assaulted her.
I did not sexually assault her.
You look my wife in the eyes and use your fingers to illustrate that you've had our daughter.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. We have all heard the phrase, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? Well, Autumn says she was called a crazy, jealous girlfriend after a video went viral of her keying her ex-boyfriend's car. Take a look.
You think I care? I don't care anymore.
Quit hitting me.
I've lost my mind.
Quit hitting me.
Give a
Oh, you don't need to give a That's cool. I got video proof of you doing this. You're crazy, bro. You're crazy. Let me leave. You have me blocked in. Let me leave. You're kidnapping me. Let me leave. Leave me alone. Let me leave.
Well, Autumn says the video, which appeared on multiple websites and social media pages, got over 2 million views in just one day. What people didn't see was what led up to that moment. Autumn claims she was pushed to the point of insanity after being stuck in a cycle of abuse for almost 2 years, where she says her ex-boyfriend beat her, choked her, and sexually assaulted her on more than one occasion. Take a look.
My relationship with DeAndre has been just a roller coaster. DeAndre is probably the most jealous person I've ever met. DeAndre goes crazy when he's not in control. He starts bashing me, calling me like a whore. In January, DeAndre and I had gotten into an argument about some deleted messages off my phone. He'd grab me by his hands and throw me on the bed as hard as he could, and he would just choke me. He would headbutt me as hard as he could. He'd just take his fist and dig it into my head, and then he would just pick me up and throw me on the wall. He would push my face up against the wall so loud that I could hear my jaw crack and my ears would ring. I ran out of the apartment and I hid under the stairs. The maintenance man called the police. They arrested him for aggravated assault. After that incident, I did get back with DeAndre. One time I told him that I didn't want to be with him anymore. He told me that he was like gonna kill me. He told me that he's murdered someone before and that they wouldn't find me if he murdered me. Last September, I remember having some drinks at the hookah bar. The next thing I remember, I woke up and I was at DeAndre's house. I had a black eye. I just had bruises everywhere, and I don't remember a thing.
My wife and I got a phone call. It's one of those phone calls that you never want to get as a parent. Help me, I'm being held against my will.
She was at DeAndre's. Her leg was bleeding. She had blood on her face.
Both of her eyes are swollen. She's got blood coming out of her nose. And I ran to her, and I remember I got a hold of her, and I helped her to my truck.
We took her to the ER. Autumn did not want to press charges. I think Autumn dropped the charges because she thought he was sorry.
The police officer told me that he was familiar with DeAndre and that I needed to get my daughter away from this person. I was absolutely terrified to hear this.
I now know that DeAndre's the one who beat me up that night. He's admitted it to me. On May 4th, I keyed DeAndre's car, and we got in a really heated argument. Things got physical between us.
I think I care. I don't care anymore.
Quit hitting me.
I've lost my mind.
Quit hitting me.
He had made me spend so much money, like just breaking things, punching holes in the walls, breaking my phone multiple times. I was frustrated, and I just wanted to make him have to spend money so he could see how I felt. When the video went viral, I saw a lot of people commenting on my photos, telling me to kill myself, that I'm crazy. I know that DeAndre is the one who sent it out with intentions of me looking crazy. I was made out to look like I'm a crazy psycho person who just did it because he cheated on me, and that's not what happened. I am not a psycho who keyed his car. I was a victim of abuse. They arrested me for domestic violence and vandalism. It's not fair that I'm the one who has to suffer and he's the one who looks like the victim in the situation.
You think I care? I don't care anymore.
Okay, Autumn, you wrote in, correct?
Yes.
Tell me what motivated you to do that. What's your goal?
The video going viral really motivated me to reach out to you so I could tell my side of the story.
Okay, and your side of the story is what? Let's just get that out at the very top.
That I was a victim of abuse.
Okay, so he has abused you.
Yes.
And he admits that, by the way, right?
Yes.
I mean, he's admitted that to us. He says he's choked you, he's hit you. I mean, I have a list I can go through later, but let's just stipulate that he's admitted that he has abused your daughter. So you say he's abused you, he admits that he's abused you, and so you wanted to get that out. And this has been going on for how long?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. Has he sexually assaulted you?
Be
Yes.
honest.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay, and he's hit you. You gave details. He's thrown you up against the wall. You thought your jaw was cracking. You've been bloodied. You've been beaten. These are bruises and pictures of him grabbing you and throwing you around, throwing you on the bed, throwing you on the floor, throwing you into the wall, drug you around by your feet. I mean, just really very vicious things. You have a restraining order against him now, correct?
Yes.
So the restraining order says that he's not to be within any contact with you at all. He can't talk to you, he can't stalk you, he can't harass you. It's a no contact order, right? Yes. In fact, he can't even be here right now. You know, here's what the order of protection says. It says the petitioner, Autumn, respondent, DeAndre, petitioner's relationship to respondent, the respondent has stalked me, the respondent has sexually assaulted me, the court orders the respondent to not abuse or threaten to abuse the petitioner, not stalk or threaten to stalk the petitioner, other orders to the respondent, no contact must not come about, The petitioner must not contact the petitioner either directly or indirectly by phone, email messages, text messages, mail, or any other type of communication or contact. So you got him shut off in that way, right? Yeah. Right? So why have you been with him all weekend while you were here?
He just sucks me back in.
Because we actually assigned security, right? Because we wanted to, we're not party to this court order, so we're under no obligation whatsoever for the court order, but I grew up in the litigation arena, so I respect court orders, so I won't even allow him to be here. I won't allow y'all to violate that in any way. So there are certain stipulations of who can hear what and who can watch what, and I won't even violate that. He won't be on this stage while you're here or you while he's here, because I just respect the court's orders. But apparently you don't, and he doesn't, because you've snuck away and been with him multiple times over the last few days, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you were intimate with him last night, correct?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on in our daughter's mind, where she thinks it's okay to go and meet up with somebody who's openly expressed that he has a desire to kill her. He's threatened to slit her throat.
And later...
I don't respect you, sir. I don't respect racist people.
I was hoping you would say something even more stupid than what you've already said.
I would be very, very careful if I were you.
Wednesday.
Collier was 11 when he heard his mom being murdered by his own father.
A child's testimony.
I heard a thud.
A hidden body.
My father rented the jackhammer days before the murder. It was completely premeditated.
A pregnant mistress.
Sherry showed up at his house right after his mother went missing.
A search for answers.
I did not kill Noreen.
This is a psychopath.
Then on Thursday, she says a catfish is using her husband's image.
50 women have been conned.
Get ready for an unexpected twist.
The catfish is here.
That's Thursday.
What do y'all think's going on here? Why, Dad, why do you think it's okay with her to be treated that way to the point of fearing for her life, and then she sneaks away and goes to be with him?
That's what we're here to find out. We're trying to figure out what's going on in our daughter's mind, where she thinks it's okay to put her safety at risk, where she thinks it's okay to go and meet up with somebody who's openly expressed that he has a desire to kill her. He's threatened to slit her throat. He's held her down and choked her out with her shoelaces. We don't understand as her parents why she continues to return to this relationship, why she allows herself to be subjected to this abuse. We're at a loss, and that's why we came here and agreed to meet with you at her request, because we're trying to figure out how to save our daughter. I don't know how else to say this, but I'm convinced, and I've told her this many times, and my wife can attest to this, he's gonna take her life. There's no doubt in my mind. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't, then she's gonna take her own. Because this beautiful, strong young lady that we raised, who was so sure of her path and who was so ambitious, has turned into this person who all of a sudden over the last couple of months talks about suicide all the time. Talks about how she feels like this guy's gonna take her life all the time. We absolutely are at a loss for why she returns to the relationship. I have my own suspicions based on some previous experiences with law enforcement and the cycle of domestic violence, but to see your own child in it rather than responding to somebody who's a victim is just, it's so different. I can't explain the gravity associated with your daughter calling you at 2 a.m. in the morning and screaming over the phone that she thinks somebody's gonna kill her, and then the phone cuts off and you don't even know where she's at.
What do you think about what he's saying?
I mean, he's telling the truth.
Were you raised to value yourself?
Yes.
Were you treated with dignity and respect in your home?
Yes.
Did they value you?
Yes.
Was your home chaotic?
I mean, at times, but not like out of the normal chaos of families.
What's your take on this, Mom?
I'm scared. Very scared.
That wasn't your plan when you got into this relationship, was it?
No, I really loved him at first. I've never loved anyone as much as I love him. That would be like the love of your life. After a year of being with him, start to act like that. You would be a little confused.
Is there any part of your mindset that makes you believe you deserve what he's doing to you?
I mean, sometimes I think that if I wouldn't have just not said that, or if I wouldn't have done that, then it would be okay. And he wouldn't have acted like that, and then we would be perfect.
So you blame yourself for provoking?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Sometimes I do.
So some of this you put on yourself?
Yes.
Because you think you poke him?
Yeah. I think that I just bring out the worst in him sometimes.
Do you think any woman deserves to be hit, sexually assaulted, life-threatened?
No.
I mean, no matter what you say or do, I mean, that's not a proportionate reaction, is it?
No.
I mean, what you're doing. Have you talked about killing yourself?
Yes.
Is that a way out?
Sometimes I feel like that.
Yeah. Do you want to die? Or do you just want this to stop?
I just want to be happy.
Yeah. Are you afraid of him?
Yes. Sometimes it's almost like he's two different people.
There were times during the last few days that you would see the security guard that was assigned to protect you, and you would see him and run from him. You would run from your protection.
I didn't know until today that he was following me, actually.
I'm sorry?
He did a good job of staying in the shadows. I didn't even see him.
You've certainly given him the slip over the last few days, whether it's you or DeAndre or whoever. You guys have lost him 2 or 3 times, and he's had to catch up with you and find you.
I didn't even notice he was following me.
And I'm asking because I'm trying to find out just how much you're really wanting to resolve this one way or the other, or if it's just a big game to you. Because I'm concerned for you. Autumn had accused you and her mother of starving and physically abusing her as a child.
When I was kicked out, I was starving. I did lose about 35 pounds.
And later,
You've had sex every day, countless times, like yesterday.
I'm going to just tell you that by the grace of God in heaven, I was unable to find you.
So you're gonna kill me.
Next Wednesday.
My mom has always been a hoarder. Oh, God. I'm stepping in animal feces.
as a child, there were times when you didn't even have a clean place to sleep.
Yeah.
That's her perspective.
There aren't versions of the truth. There's either a sanitary room or there's not.
That's next Wednesday.
Edward, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Have there been intentional efforts to evade your protection over the weekend?
I did feel like they were trying to stay away because they knew they were being followed.
Uh-huh. And who initiated the contact between you and DeAndre over the weekend?
He did. He kept asking me to come hang out with him.
And did you know that she did?
Yeah, she let us know that he had reached out to her and that he had texted her or sent her a text message that he wanted to meet up at a local dispensary.
Marijuana dispensary.
Yeah, so that they could smoke marijuana and just do whatever.
Which is real disrespect for you.
It is. And as her father, I mean, and her mother, we talked to her about not doing it, asked her, basically begged her not to do this, not to put herself in this situation again. And it was...
What'd she tell you?
The response was aggressive, and basically she was a grown woman taking some of the words out, and that she could do whatever she wanted to do, and let her know that she had security watching her. She said that she thought that was a lie, that she didn't believe me, that you guys wouldn't do that to, and I think her words were invade her privacy. And so I tried to explain to her, sweetheart, that it's not about invading your privacy, it's about protecting you. This cycle that you're trapped in is going to catch up to you sooner than you realize. And we need somebody there, if you won't let us be there, to step in on our behalf and potentially save you from this person when he decides to trigger again.
It's been very busy. We were contacted by you at 3:48 p.m. on Sunday saying that Autumn had left the hotel and that we needed to do something on our end to make sure that things were safe. 5:11 p.m. you call someone on our staff and said that your father told you needed to get to the hotel or we were going to cancel the show. 5:21, you call a producer saying that Autumn had cursed you out and told him she did not need to tell you where she was at. 7:06 p.m., you call a producer again and said that she was walking around L.A. and the team told her that they would provide her an Uber to get her back to the hotel. We hadn't talked to you. Nobody told you we were going to get you an Uber back to the hotel, correct?
I was just going to get an Uber myself.
Yeah, but you told him we told you that we were going to do that, which is not true. At 7:45, the staff member got in touch with you, and you said you went to a dispensary, and so we told you that. Then at 8:06 p.m., you called a producer and told him that Autumn was back at the hotel but would not tell you where she had been. Then it starts again at 8:18 in the morning. You said that Autumn had accused you and her mother of starving and physically abusing her as a child. And that, I'm sorry?
You said who said that?
You said that.
Yeah, I told them about the conversation that we had at breakfast.
I didn't accuse you of starving me, but when I was kicked out, I was starving, and I didn't have a bed for a year. I slept in DeAndre's bed. He provided me a bed, provided me a car when I wrecked mine. He provided me a shower curtain and things to eat out of and things to eat with when my sister took off with all of that. And he replaced it for me because I had no money and no money to even buy food. So definitely didn't have money to replace all the stuff that my sister took from me. I didn't accuse you of starving me as a child. I was well fed growing up in your home. But when I was kicked out, I was starving. I did lose about 35 pounds.
Did you accuse them of physically abusing you as a child?
Yes.
Did they?
No, but I was punished, I feel like.
So they didn't physically abuse you as a child?
No.
You just accused them of it? I mean, I got pages of this. I mean, we've spent a lot of time talking back and forth. Well, you know what? We're going to take a break. Autumn is going to leave the stage due to the protection order, so I can talk to, well, I was going to say her ex-boyfriend, but based on the activities of the last few days, I don't think I can call it an ex-boyfriend, but I don't know what you want it to be, and we're going to help you figure that out, because I want you to have what you want. And I know it's not easy always to get there. And I don't want to judge that. I want to help you achieve it, whatever it is you want, and we'll figure that out before we're done. So DeAndre is here, so we're going to meet him next. We're going to hear what Sean has to say to him when they have an opportunity to chat about this. We'll be right back.
Autumn is crazy. She keyed my car. She has anger issues. This is the order of protection. Me and Autumn cannot stay away from each other. 3 days ago, we was having sex in my vehicle. It was good sex.
I am at the end of my rope. I want DeAndre to know if he truly loves my daughter, then he needs to let her go.
What would I say if DeAndre was sitting across from me right now? What gives you the right to hurt my child? And how much longer do you think you can get away with it before somebody holds you accountable for your actions?
Well, I spoke to Autumn in the last segment, but she's had to leave the stage as the protection order states that she and DeAndre cannot be in contact. Now, however, since being in LA, we've learned that Autumn broke that protection order. DeAndre broke that protection order because they ran off to see each other. Now, the man that she claims has beaten and assaulted her is who she's been running off to see. Autumn's parents claim that one time they picked their daughter up from DeAndre's house and she was beaten to the point where she had blood coming out of her nose and her mouth. Now, even though DeAndre admits that he has choked Autumn about 6 times, he says he has gone to anger management and feels that that has really helped him a lot. Take a look.
Autumn and I have an abusive relationship, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Autumn is crazy. Autumn and I met a year and a half ago. One day I was on social media scrolling, and I was like, ooh, who is this baddie? Baddie means she's cute. And I was like, hey, you should come hang out with me. She was like, oh, I would love to. I stay with Autumn because she's my homie. For 2, I kind of like crazy girls. When Autumn I fight, the fights get out of hand. I choked Autumn probably around 6 times throughout our relationship. The first time I choked Autumn, I was at her house. She was screaming at me, and I choked her. I picked her up, I took her to her room, and I slammed her on her bed. I ended up in jail for aggravated domestic assault. I've never raped Autumn. The night of the sexual assault, we had sex. After that, she was like, let me call my dad. I would grab her wrist, and I was like pushing on her head and everything. So I was like, I don't want you calling your dad. Like, this is definitely not the greatest way for me to meet your father.
You think I care? I don't care anymore.
On the night of the incident when Autumn keyed my car, she went through my phone, saw some messages that she didn't like, kicked me out, took my money when I left. I took her phone, she followed me, and she was, I'm sick of this. And she keyed my car. She has anger issues. This is the order of protection. This order of protection came about because me and Autumn cannot stay away from each other. 3 days ago, we was having sex in my vehicle. It was good sex. She blames me for everything. She blames me for all of her problems. I spend more time with her than I do any other person on this earth. After you build that trust, you really want to try and like make things work, and hopefully everything at the end will get better. Sometimes I'm just like, maybe not. Maybe I should just slide.
Okay, now you've been listening to everything so far, correct?
Yes, sir.
But now she can't listen to anything you're saying because of it's just the way the protection order works. So you've been hearing what she said, but she can't listen to what you say.
Yes, sir.
Now, you all have met?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about what he was just saying on his tape piece about saying, yeah, I've choked her about 6 times, thrown her against the wall, the bed, whatever. We're talking about your daughter.
You know what I think that I and everybody else that's watching this right now probably also thinks, but I don't want to speak for them. I'll speak for myself because I'm a grown man. And by the way, men don't hit women. You understand that? Don't.
If men don't,
I'm going to be respectful to you, so you let me finish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then I'll give you your opportunity. I think you've more than more.
back. She's like, fight me, why don't you fight me? Like, and I'm getting antagonized. I have anger issues. Like, I'm still working on trying to get better. I know that I do need help, and I'm seeking help, and I want more help.
Well,
sure.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Did they talk to you about accountability?
No, sir.
Anger management, they didn't talk to you about being accountable for yourself?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They did talk about that?
Yes, sir.
Because your first thing when I asked you about it was to say, you do it too. So that's not being accountable.
Yes,
You're
sir.
saying instead of saying, I'm going to own what I did, you want to talk about what someone else allegedly did.
Yes, sir.
Because you don't know what somebody else did. You don't know whether she did it or not. Because if you believe that she tells the truth.
Well, this is what happened. One time her mother barged into her house when me and Autumn was not supposed to be over there. And Autumn tried to defend me to her mom. And she said, you know how dad smacks me around sometimes, like trying to defend me. And that's when I was like, this isn't okay. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. And the fact that her father does it, I feel like that's part of the reason why she keeps coming back to me. And she thinks it's okay for people to put her hands on her.
So you think she's, for whatever problems you have, you think she's at least honest? She wouldn't say that if it wasn't true.
Oh, definitely not. I feel like she's really afraid of her parents, and she tells me that her parents are very judgmental about the stuff that goes on with them.
And you believe what she says is true?
I believe what she tells me is true.
So when she says that you sexually assaulted her, then that would be true too?
Under conditions, I did not sexually assault her. No, I did not sexually assault her, but...
Well, when do we believe her? Do we believe her when she's talking about someone else, but not about you?
She believes she was. Under the circumstances, she believes that she was. She does not doubt that she was sexually assaulted.
Okay, well, let's talk about what you said about the night.
All right.
You said that you, on the 10th of September in 2017, you picked Autumn up from a club.
Yeah.
This is what you said, that you found her passed out in a car with some unknown man.
Yes, sir.
And that you finally were able to wake her up, and she fell to her knees when she got out of the car.
Yeah, when she picked up, she fell down.
Yeah. And that you put her in your car to drive home, and somewhere along the way you slammed on the brakes and Autumn hit her head on the window or the dashboard.
Yes, sir.
You slammed on the brakes on purpose?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
Because I was like, who is that guy you was with? And she was like, what guy? I don't know who you're talking about. I slammed on the brakes. I started screaming. I was like, who is that guy you was with? I pushed her head up on the door. I was screaming at her, and she's like punching me, kicking me. And I grab her wrist. I forcefully push her into the backseat, and then I take off driving. We get back to my house, and then we're just laying down, because by then I'm cooled down.
Okay, so you assaulted her in the car because you were jealous about her being with somebody else?
No, sir. I was mad that she kept lying to me.
So she got out of the car and fell backwards onto the grass, and then you took her inside, changed her clothes, put a Band-Aid on her knee.
Yes, sir. Because her knee was bleeding. I didn't realize her knee was bleeding until we got to my house, and then that's when I changed her clothes. I put a Band-Aid on her knee, and then we laid down in the bed, and we was laying down for a little bit, and then like she started rubbing her butt up against me, and then that's when we did what we had to do. We did our thing, you know.
Yeah. Okay,
and
she
then,
woke up an hour later and started freaking out.
Yes,
and
sir.
Screaming and called her dad to come and get her.
And then that's when she was like, I want to call my dad, and I was like, this isn't like an ideal situation for me to meet your father. Like, I don't want to meet your father like this.
So but when you found her, she was passed out and incapacitated. When you found her in the car, passed out.
Yeah, she was asleep. She was asleep.
Yeah, and you said, you said she was passed out and she fell to her knees when she got out of the car.
Yes, sir.
So, and she thinks maybe she had been roofied.
Yes,
by this other guy.
Yes, and then she told me that afterwards, her dad picked her up. That's when she told me that she didn't remember anything and that she had been roofied. And that's when I was like, oh, in the back of my head, I was like, dang, we had sex and you just told me that you was off a roofie. So she doesn't remember anything that happened. And so now it's like, what's that make me look like? But at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's interesting what that makes you look like, because I took a hard look at the law in your state, and it's pretty interesting because there's a statute of limitations, 8 years actually, and it says rape is unlawful sexual penetration of a victim by the defendant, and the defendant knows or has a reason to know that the victim is mentally defective, mentally incapacitated, or physically helpless. And it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that you have to meet all of these. Any one of these.
Yes, sir.
You assault her in the car. You say she was incapacitated when you found her.
Yeah, when I found her.
Then you assault her in the car. Then you go home and she's clearly incapacitated. And
no,
you still...
There was time lapse. That's my girlfriend. We've had sex plenty of times. We've had sex every day, countless times, like yesterday, like this morning, like all the time.
What does Autumn see in you? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I've ever met anyone more foolish than you.
Yes, sir.
You're the guy that beats women.
You see all this.
You're the guy that rapes women.
Autumn has been through physical abuse and mental abuse through her parents, stuff that's happened her whole life growing up. Autumn has told me stories about where her dad has hit her and where he's like drug her out the house by her hair. She told me that her father used to call her a raging bitch. And she also told me that her dad's racist.
May I? So, I don't know if I've ever met anyone more foolish than you.
Yes, sir.
Let me... So let me carefully define the situation for you.
Yes, sir.
You've come on stage and you're smiling and you find great humor in the fact that you're sexually assaulted and physically assaulted.
There's no humor to it. There's no humor to it.
You had the courage. I don't think I want to call it that. I think I want to call it the poor decision to look my wife in the eyes and use your fingers to illustrate. But if you'll listen to me, I want to outline the situation for you.
Everything you're saying, yes, sir.
I've trained thousands of warriors, soldiers to take the battlefield.
Yes, sir.
In some of the most austere and dangerous conditions imaginable.
Yes, sir.
Against some pretty scary armed aggressors.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. That's probably why your daughter's so afraid.
I've come looking for you, and I'm going to just tell you that by the grace of God in heaven, I was unable to find you.
Yes,
and
sir.
it's only through my inability to do so that you still draw breath.
Yes, sir. So you're going to kill me.
So I'm just going to tell you on behalf of...
Are you threatening to kill me? That's what I'm asking. Are you threatening to kill me?
No, I just know what would happen. Based on your behavior, nobody can have a sensible conversation with you. You've got my daughter wrapped up in this cycle of domestic violence where the tension phase builds up. And then she does something to try to gain your favor, but it triggers you, and then you batter her and you beat her. And she tries to get through it as quickly as she can so she can get into the honeymoon phase to try to please you again.
Yes, sir.
What we've tried to explain to her, and that's when the sex happens, by the way, she's tried to explain to us that she thinks that that's who you really are, the guy during the honeymoon phase. What she doesn't understand is everything is about getting to that for you, but you're really the other guy. You're the guy that lives in those other two phases.
See, this
You're
is
the guy that beats women.
You see all this.
You're the guy that rapes women. You're the guy that has the nerve
I rape women?
to come on stage and look my own wife in the eye on national television and illustrate that you're going to have sex with somebody with your fingers. I know that Dr. Phil has the ability to figure out what's wrong with you because the Lord knows that I don't.
Yes, sir.
Well, Sean and Angelica say DeAndre has threatened to kill their daughter several times and even held a knife to her. We're going to hear what DeAndre has to say about that when we come back. Well, we've run out of time, but I still have a whole lot to say to DeAndre. And things heat up even more when DeAndre confronts Sean for allegedly abusing his daughter, Autumn.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Sean.
I don't respect you, sir. I don't respect racist people.
Confronts his daughter's abuser.
I didn't think it was possible you would say something even more stupid than what you've already said.
If her parents can't keep him away,
You violated a restraining order twice since you've been here.
can Dr. Phil?
Have you threatened to murder her, and did you tell her that you've murdered someone before?
Yes, sir.
That's tomorrow.
Believe me, you do not want to miss tomorrow. Look, I want to thank all of my guests today. We'll see you next time.